Hello, maskata kanaka nditete rasta. Welcome to Zim I. Nasi, I'm really honored because tikutaura nyaya yemumusha chaiyo. Tiri kuno ku England ku Surrey, and we are all on the same page. So there's this lady who she's described by the paper as being infuriated. So pane levels of anger pane infuriate is kana munhu akatsamwa zvekuti you cannot pacify them at all. There's nothing whatsoever you can say that will help them to what? Kuti aite calm. So it's not just an ordinary level of anger. And this lady anonzi bongai mashora, she's in Zimbabwe, who was very, very aggrieved because murume wakanonzi Elton Mashora decided to take on a mistress. And I understand kuti this lady, this relationship or this affair, it started in 2013. So kuri kunzi pane mwana tamuna 2017, it's about 4 good years vari vese vana. So let's just build our foundation, because munoziva kuti tete vanoda kuita build my foundations. Kana vanhu vachinzi they are man and wife panenge paita muchato kuZimbabwe kune yainzi chapter 37. I'm not sure kuti yakunzi chii manje, but in Zimbabwe they take these issues very, very seriously. So when people are married, vanotanga vaita the traditional marriage, which is the one yekubhadhara mari zverora zviye. It's supposed to be zvechirango, but vamwe vari kudhurisa zvamusati mamboona. We're going to come into that in another session. So kana vanhu vadaro, then they go either ku court vonobatanidzwa zvakanaka, then they have a marriage certificate. And then vamwe they advance voita inonzi white wedding. So apa panga paine a legal element yekuti these guys are married. So what do we find now? Just make sure that my settings are born. Yeah, right. So what do we find? We find that Elton akaita a mistress. So guys, sometimes they have girlfriends. Because she's a small house. A small house by definition is somebody atorine setup. Usually anenge aikawanirwa imba paanenge akagara achibhadharirwa rent, achibhadharirwa mabills, kazhinji panenge paine vana as well from this new union. Saka maiyo vanenge vari ku big house, that's the legal one, and then ava vanenge vari ka small house where she is and baba vanenge vachiuya vachiita back and forth zvavanenge vachiita. So this mistress ainzi Vimbai Java Jinji, and she's at large kokokoko. So nyaya yandinakidza because this thing, it went to court. And then the courts awarded Bongai $10,000. That's a lot of money. I'm just going to do a quick conversion for you. $10,000 equated to pounds. Its exchange rate is 1 pound. Yeah, 1 pound is equals to $1.41. So this one is equal to 7,142.85 pence. Nemari yakadaro mu UK, you can buy a smart car kako ka 5-door if you want, brand new zvakuti unenge uchitoputunura wega mumapepa. You can put a very decent deposit on a property and you can buy furniture. And then vari ku South Africa, this equates to 150,000 rands, because the US dollar, one USA is equal to, I think it's 21. Is it pound? What am I converting to? 1 pound is equals to 21 rand. Saka imari yakawanda that she got. Saka mskana ibanditi, she was having none of it. But the point here, papa pandiye kuti chi hanzvadzi dzangu hazvirambidzwe kuita vakadzi vakawanda, but you have to follow the stream yekuita sei yekupinda mugwaro rebarika, if that's what you really want. And barika ratosiyana ne small house in the sense that hama dzako dzinoziva kuti ndo iri kutambika. You go and announce yourself to this new one, hama dzake, and then wotoita rora zvinhu zvenyu zvomira zvakati ti. So that is the traditional way of doing it. But kana uchienda kuchechi uchiita chichichi, that's against ma protocols a Christianity. So rora is there in all strata of religious belief, my spiritual beliefs, because tine chivanhu as well, which is our original religion. And so kana munhu asina kubhadharirwa rora kazhinji, not kazhinji, always muchato wacho is null and void. Even vanhu vari kudiaspora vari kuchajwa mazi big money. Unototi munhu ari kutotengeswa imba 40,000 pounds, 60,000 pounds. Anyway, let's leave Zerora for another discussion. Let's stick with this one. So Bongai akapiwa this money, and so this money yakacharged to the mistress, who is Vimbai. And my question really was, Saka Vimbai wacho, would she be able to pay this money? Because the blaza vakandova ne mosha. And in looking at this paper, I'm sure you will see the article. It was posted yesterday. You'll be thinking to yourself, kuti Saka inda madzimai vari the ones that are fighting. But munakanda shoko to this lady is the guy, Uyu Elton. So it got me thinking, kuti, what is marriage? People are so casual about marriage these days. You know what I mean? Even ukangoita zvekurora, wogumira ipapo, zvato right, wato pedza, if you are not keen on taking the next step. So Vimbai Arkunzi, she was very defiant, she was very boastful, and she was also showing off to what? To mukadzi wa Elton Uyubongai achitoti, I'm more beautiful than you, and she was vowing through all that period could she would never leave this man. You see, I met some very interesting young men per weekend ndakaenda kugochi inoitwa ku Dunstable, and I parked my car, so I was going in to get something from my car, and then we were just talking, and these guys were just looking at me. It was really fun. And you are mighty fine. Ipapo ndangandade nawo zvangu because ndandi handibudza kuti kune fashion brigade ndahandizviziva kuti vanenge vari kusaka ndandazvizadza zvangu majeans angu malevis ndobva ndarova imwe inonzi chibulletproof vest yandinombopfeka kana ndichida kuti zvityise. So I think boys dzanga dzakutoti paita something. So then I said to them, imini maingei panapa handiti. I was just very frank with them. I didn't know kuti vanoziva here about Tete Rasta or they were just there. So they were explaining to sister vasikana tikuda kutoita get laid. Get laid means kuti kuenda pabonde. It was just like vari kutsvaga booty call or hit and run. And their honesty really got to me. Pane mumwe munhu achatoitwa pick up nhasi achitoenda nablaza achitofunga kuti ndawana munhu achaita candidate wemukwasha waamai, but blaza atodeclare asati atombouya kugochi kuti he just wants a quickie. So Vanu must be careful of what they get themselves entangled in. Because this lady, Vimbai, she is obviously very reckless about somebody else's marriage. She really doesn't care. And even vachazomugamuchira kumhuri Elton, they need to know what kind of a person she is. So it got me thinking, kuti, this issue of small houses is becoming an acceptable trend to Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? I'm not entirely sure kuti zvakanyatsotangwa nani, but the biggest public example was of it, I can remember, was in the 1980s, in the 1980s. Chichinzi maminister ari kusponsor chichi ane flat yaningi what munhu otoitwa small house. So you know, you were aware of these things, and they were few and far between. Now, inenge ato trend where some people do not even seek an occupation, kana kuti qualifications. Vari kungoenda vachizvivolunteer kuita small houses kuti vachengetwe. Askana tsvagai zvikoro so that you can what? You can get an education. Ndakuda kunyatsopinda mukati kunyatsodzika nenyaya yema-small houses nema-big houses. Kana munhu azvipira kuti ndoda kuroorwa naningi, she's showing a commitment, okay? And we'll come to what women are failing on in a minute. This week, Father's, you know, Father's Day week. So bata nyaya very delicately and sensitively, because kana munhu akuita sezvaitwa na Elton, it means kuti pane zvimwe zvinhu zvisiri kufaya mumba. So we have to take responsibility. So kana munhukadzi azvipira kuti I'm going to get married to this one, they forgo all else to be with that particular person. So I just want to encourage my sisters kuti kana uchiziva kuti apa pana occupier, it's like wasvika pamba yemwe munhu. Kana mine mapoto mine zvinhu, leave it alone. That place belongs to somebody else, because uchazochargwa $10,000 for violation of somebody else's marriage. And I know that there's a law in Zimbabwe where ukakanda shoko and you promise someone to marry them, if you default, you are going to be sued by the other party. So marriage is a sacred thing. Kunevan varku enter into it, please don't enter into it lightly. So I just wanted to say kuti Bongai akandi impress her when she presented a case, because what she did, she had my images. She had my images and she provided pictures in the court to the magistrate of her husband having quality time na Vimbai, and also pictures of them pleasuring themselves kumatopo. So you wonder kuti Elton anaenda na small house kumatopos inda asingaendeka na bongai. Sometimes madzimai anabongai musarelaxe mudzimba umomo. Nyatsoramba muine fitness program yenyu muchigeza muchipoda baba kana vauya movaitira zvinoitirwa murume akatina mombe kumusha kwenyu handiti, because ukasadaro anozowaya sa uyu Elton. So she was providing these images, but if the horse has already bolted, it all amounts to nothing then, because yes, she's gone to the courts, yes, she's got $10,000, but blaza vachisipo maona. So if this whole fight is about the man, what he's basically saying by keeping this relationship alive for like 4 years is that I'm out of here. So anziso nematare Vimbai caused Bongai untold suffering. I don't know what that means. Pamwe blaz uyu anzvadzi yangu uyu Elton angaitori ne untold suffering yekunyimwa pabonde. So kana warorwa performer handiti, otherwise pane vamwe vanhu vachaita sei vachakuperformera. Pane mumwe munhu akauya Facebook page yangu kupersonal achiti tete, you're being too hard on the sisters. The proportion of women outnumbers the proportion of men, and that is so true. So they were challenging me, so what should be done about it? I don't know the answers, but what I do know is breaking marriages and marriage vows is a very bad thing. Now collateral damage. Now collateral damages are the children. Pane vana vakawanda ku Zimbabwe, ku diaspora, you name it, vari kukura vasina madzibaba avo. So let's say uyu decided to vacate the family home. Kana Vimbai achitoshowa character yakadai so, is she going to encourage Elton kuti shamwari chengeta vana, pota uchitumira mari, tengera vana masocks, tengera vana boots, uniforms and so on? Ndipo pane shungu dzangu satete. You know what I'm saying? Because handisi kutaura kazvefiction yakatotambika kwandiri inini. Kutoreza mwana kusvika age yekutoti akutotaura, akutoziya, akutoenda ega, baba vasinga contribute. And I blame the small house. Kana kuti mainini vanenge vaihwapura murume wemunhu, because you're supposed to be compassionate. Yes, you violated something, but make sure kuti mwana akasiwa ukoko aita sei ari kuchengetwa. That is just a very basic thing, because mangwana vana vako ndo vachatambwa iyoyo. So I want to encourage that. I also want to speak directly kune madzitete. Any woman ane hanzvadzi, or you know what I mean, utete hwedu in our culture. Do not encourage vana Vimbai vava vanouya vachiviolate the thing. The simple thing is to say, isusu murora wedu tinomuziya, and then momira ipapo pa protocol. To the brothers, kana usisade mukadzi, this is what you do. Ochaga bond coin rako, kudhara vaitora 20 cents kana 50 cents in the old Zimbabwe money. Wonoipa wotizvo iyi ndio inonzi gupuro. Kana waita izvozvo, it signifies chin a divorce, kuti hauchada mukadzi. Nobody will hold you to account, even ukazosangana nemumwe, that one is null and void. For those vanenge vaita Christian marriage, it's more complicated. I know that there are certain faiths such as Catholicism, amubvumirwe kuita divorce. There are certain protocols anotokubind until death do you part. So kuti anatete vanenge varipo vachiedza kukanika, vachiedza kubatanidza kuti zvinhu zvenyu zvishande. Then there are certain violations for those who are very Christian. You can only have divorce on these particular grounds. Azvizvi zvongoita buffet kamenu yekuti unoenda woti apa ndakuda izvi, apa ndakuda apa izvi, ndakuda apa. And then talking about Catholicism, you know that our president is a Roman Catholic. I was a little bit baffled because isusu takakura nguva ya Maisali Mugabe. You remember her? Vekugana vai. Such a gentle woman. Ndo mai vangu inini and my role model. It got me wondering, kuti, you know, when we look at the ages of Vanava president, yakazvarwa before mother vakashaya. I know, makutanga kuti vakuita shaisano, what. Inini handina mataboos. It's a public secret. If you do the maths, mwana mukuru was conceived and created Maisali vachiri mupenyu when she was actually receiving dialysis. And I know in Catholicism you're not allowed to do So it just got me thinking. I'm just putting it out there. Kana paine munhu ane answers, please ndibatsirewo, because we were in a very staunch Christian background. Saka Catholicism ndiyo yedu chaiyo. Kana rosary ndokurovera rosary zvausati wamboona, because ndo kwandakabva. That was my parents' religion. So it just got me thinking kuti ndeiviri kutambika panapa before we start throwing stones, because ndiri kumentiona izvi is not to be disrespectful, but to make you realize kuti sometimes the sins of our fathers come to haunt us. Maona, you are saying to yourselves, kuindava kamweya kemasmall houses karongowanda muZimbabwe, indava vanhu vasiri kurespecta the institution of marriage, indava zvinhu zvisiri kudai so on. The other week we were talking about Magaya. You know what I mean? People in authority, people in positions, they become role models, and then they make it permissive for this sort of conduct to happen. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, I just ask, even president, you know, I sometimes throw a picture yangu papa profile yangu, mwina mai sali, and she used to cook for you. So I just wanted to say kuti ndine shaishana chimwana chenyu chiri kudiaspora. Anyway, rega tichibata ye-collateral damage tichipedza. Pane housekeeping yandoda kuita before I go. Nhasi handida kunyanyotaurisa because kune zuva. Nhasi ndakapfeka chipan-African changu ichi chindaumbonokonzeresa kuhigh street uko ndaenda kulibrary. Because ndakadropa laptop yangu, so I don't have a laptop. Saka ndotonokwereta zvevamwe until I get mine sorted. Housekeeping. Ndiri kutanga roll call. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting a roll call. Kwatete rasta ndokwamunouya handiti. I am aware of my fathers. Vamwe vatori high profile vane vana ku Zimbabwe and ku international. Vasiri kucheka ma responsibilities avo. So I'm giving you 2 weeks to establish relationships nevana venyu. Just even to pick up the phone and say hi, ndini daddy. Because vanhu madzimai ari kundiudza izvozvo they are aggrieved. Hanzi kana masocks haatomboziva kuti mwana anopfeka masocks kana boots kana chii. That's a violation against children's rights. You are putting children in poverty because of your willfulness. Kana paine munhu anoziya uyu journalist anonzi Guma, mumubvunze kuti mwana wake ari sei, handiti, so that tinenge tichikuchidzirana, tichibatsirana, zvinhu zvedu zvichifamba. Ini ndichamuapproacha zvangu personally. Then pane vamwewo futi vandichashedza after the 2 weeks kana musina kuita come forward. Chandiringoda ndiche kuti establish the relationships. Even kana relationship yakapera namaiyo, musazoita kazva Elton zvekuita burn all bridges. Look after your children. Children are a blessing, handiti. And then the other thing that I wanted to highlight here, housekeeping, is matchmaking 101. Iri kufire. If anybody would like to have an introduction to someone who's their type or their source, come to inbox and tell me. I've got a good success rate here matchmaking, so it's very confidential, it's very private. We have to pay a Facebook page Kwatete Rasta, and I'll sort that out. Paiswa comment apa anzi pavana point taken. Thanks Jimalo ndiwe uneyese pavana point gainingirikimwe because mwana hana mosha. They didn't ask to be, made by you. Then ndisandaenda kure kune vanasikana vari kuba vana vedzinza reokokoko. Morega kuti baba vaite contact nevana even though iye aine shungu, especially kana ana mbuya vachitravela vachida kuona vazukuru. You are behaving very badly muchivanyima access to the children. Munoshungurudza tete. Imimo futi ndiri kuita list yenyu, and I'm giving you, I'm giving you 2 weeks just like the guys kuti muchitanga kuita establish my contacts namadzibaba evana venyu, because kana ana baba evavo vakacomplaina kwandiri kuti tete ndiri kunyimwa access, vana havasi kutombotaura nambuya, you are depriving mwana wako emotionally of a link that is absolutely essential to their growth. Yes, we'll move on. Yes, zvinhu zvako zviri kufaya kwauri, but mwana haazi wako, and ukaba mwana wedzinza rekumwe kunhu the sins of the fathers will follow you. Musarohwe nehana kuti imi muri kuita sei, imi muri kutivhundutsira. Ndiri kutokuudzai iripo, ndo iripo iyoyo. Pane imwe comment hanzizo, what's this about? Who is Elton? Asi china iwe Paulo enda ku Facebook ku Zimai uvenga article ya Nezuro, and then you will watch this program. It's going to make perfect sense. This was an article mukadzi akaitwa awarded $10,000 aitirwa snatch, murume wake akasnatchwa by a small house. So that's what this is about. It's always going to be very helpful for you to read the article ahead of time because then it will synergize mumva manyatsoita linking nyaya nezvandiri kutaura will make sense. So I think ndizvozvo izvozvo pane mumwe mubvunzo here ndisati ndaenda inini mukandisiya ndinotaura until the cows come home. So just a little update. As the Ministry of Education has backed down on the issue of scripture union, it's now allowed because vanga vaita misunderstanding. They thought it was a part of the school education curriculum, but as you know, it's just a club that people can co-opt into. So I'm sure my Christians are kujabula vari kufara naizvozvo. And then yeah, I think then the last thing that I just want to mention is this. I want to express my unreserved gratitude for all the likes amuri kutipa ku Facebook page kwa Tete Rasta. I was absent because ndakaita rufu shortly after I was doing my nights, but I'm now back and I'm here for you. I'm here for Zimbabwe, especially. I don't work for Zimbabwe and in kana script ndinongoverenga news dzavanenge vati hona izvi zvitete. I think Tete needs to comment and then I do so. I'm happy to visit any other papers and comment on any of the other bulletins atinoda ku circulate in our community. But today I want to make mention of this. I'm very angry in Zimbabwe Newsday. Pane article yava publisher about a Zimbabwean man who killed his partner and then he committed suicide. And then it turns out it's not even a Zimbabwean. This is not the first article by this paper which is bogus. Inda amurkuraya brand Zimbabwe boys. Kana news dziri so poor. Ndivunzeini now write articles for you. You don't have to drag the name of the country down. Where's the patriotism? What is this? Anyway, I'm going to pick it up now because we have to protect our brand. So I'm very grateful for all the likes. I'm overwhelmed by the level of support and the quality of feedback on what I'm doing for Tete Rasta. And also the guys and the girls who know this is IT. You've given me some pointers, some useful equipment that I'm going to invest in so that my quality can improve from strength to strength. And then fashion police, Murukupiko. Ndanga ndichipfeka zvinhu zvinokudenha, you never even commented. Last time anga muchiti you're touching your hair, zvazodai. So mukaenda kwaTete Rasta ndakakupfekera dzimwe dzakapenga dzinenge mabhandi. I thought you were going to comment and you were absent. What's wrong with you? Let's have a bit of fun, aiwa handiri ngotamba hangu, but mukada kuuya uzokomenta uyai zvenyu. And then hanzi nevamwe Tete muri kutinyepera kuti amurove chamba. Serious, handirove chamba. Handirove mbanje. Ndakazvarwa ndakadai so. All it is ndine imwe system yandinoshandisa inonzi mind gymnastics. Is where you think quite fast and you kind of interact with stuff. I'll share some links with you if you want to do it. It's fun, but people end up thinking that you're crazy. It's because my actual job, it's very stressful and intense, so I have to think very fast. So anyway, Murima beneficiaries. And then lastly, we have now finalized our presence on Pamtengo radio station every Wednesday, starting this coming Wednesday between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. The program is called Ubuntu. Any issues, any questions, my playlist. Zim Dance Hall. As you know, Minister Jonathan Moyo, vakati content yes, Zimbabwean music must be 75% or what Javakataura Makuraya. What he's done is he produced a genre of talented young people varikuti sparkwa halas ne music. So I'm going to be using that platform to promote some of their stuff so that at least vanoita mari muhomwe. I was impressed na Killer T akandinyorera email via YouTube because kwane YouTube channel achiclaima tuma rights kunika muka video kandakanyanyoridza one of his songs that I particularly like. Kana paine munhu anoziya Killer T muzotete vada kutaura naye. Ndaitoridza music yako kuti ndikupromote mfana and handisiri kuiridza kuti ndikuite imwe iyaye. There's a lot of scope because your music really ministers to me. So nditsvage kuinbox because ndida kutaura newe dhiri. Ife ndida kutogadzirwa chijingo chaTete Rasta. Anyway, Maita Basa Paul Anza, thanks Tete. You're welcome, my dear. If you have any problems finding that article, inbox me and then I'll send the link to you. And then also one after video and it will make sense. Ipap. So I opened that there now because that was part of my mission. I hope I have managed to help you to think a little bit deeper about the issues. My big houses, itaibasa renyu, otherwise unowapurirwa. masmall houses zvitsvagire wako. Kana wakandirwa shoko nemumwe munhu, clarify kuti iwewe are you with somebody before you launch into something, because once the horse is bolted, atide vanozoita savimbai uyu anenge achitoita boast kuti ndini ndiripo, ndiri panyanga and I'm not going anywhere. Hazvina chimiro and tete havatombozvida. And ndizvinzwe futi ndichatanga kuita roko yevanhu vari kuparadza dzimba dzevamwe vanhu. Handiti aiwa maita basa, siyabonga, musare zvakanaka. Salute.